Welcome to All Kinds. I'm Chaya.
And I'm Yehudis. Chaya, what's on the menu today?
Well, today we have all kinds of crime and some Hollywood juice. So we're going to start with, how did Gwyneth get that Oscar? We all know about what happened with Harvey. I don't think we need to tell anybody. But I always remember that when she got that Oscar in that ill-fitting dress, the Shakespeare in Love. I never saw the movie. Did you see it?
I did see the movie because I'm obsessed with anything royals. I don't know why. I just am. Anything. I've watched The Queen with Helen Mirren.
So you
Fantastic
classify
movie.
that as the royals?
Absolutely. Shakespeare. Yeah, I'm as Canadian American. Anything I think with British, I'm thinking royals.
Oh, here we go. I sense an accent.
Well, I do love the British accent.
Absolutely.
But Gwyneth, I'll just keep it real with Gwyneth. She fucked Harvey for that Oscar. That's
100%.
my opinion.
Now, she claims that, I think I read this, that she was being harassed and she told Brad at the time, and then he sassed out Harvey, but it's a little unclear.
Which I think she was embarrassed to fuck Harvey Weinstein. I mean, it is embarrassing. She obviously worked out a deal with him. She was like, listen, my mom is Blythe Danner. I'm coming from this amazing theatrical, family. I need to prove that I'm also an Oscar-winning actress.
Well, I think you always remember that she's on his arm all the time. And for me, it seemed like she came out of nowhere with that Oscar.
Touchy.
I don't remember who she was against that year.
And if you notice, even with Jennifer Lawrence, I haven't heard much of her. And she was very touchy-feely with Harvey. I feel like he works things out, especially with bright but young, blonde, tall actresses.
Yeah, I mean, because from the ones who spoke out. They spoke out years ago. But
Right.
even when the scandal broke, I didn't hear Gwyneth.
I didn't hear. Well, she did speak up a little bit about how Brad defended
probably.
her. Right. But I think she fucked him because there's no way, even in her Oscar speech, she thanked Harvey, I think, how many times?
Oh, did she?
Yeah, it was all Harvey this. Thank you so much, Harvey, for believing in me. Thank you so much, Miramax. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I remember people were shocked that she got the Oscar. It didn't seem Gwyneth's Oscar.
I remember being shocked. That's what I'm saying. She's in this prom dress.
It's like she has a lot of pressure. It's like kids of rappers when they try to be rappers. It's a craft.
Little this, little that.
Right. And it's a craft. You either have it or you don't. And Gwyneth, with her connection, she pulled off, good movies. I still like the movie Shallow Hal.
Oh, yeah, that movie.
Well, she says she regrets doing it.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. But I think
She said
it was,
that?
yeah, absolutely. She said that. She said, it's fat shaming. But again, I thought it was an hilarious movie.
That was a famous movie. It was really funny. But I really think that I agree with you. She must have. I don't care what she says. You think about it. Like, oh, she comes in, he's hitting on her. What is she saying? No, Harvey, I don't want to be a leading lady. And then he's like, just give me a kiss. And she's like, okay, well, maybe I let him touch me, right? And then the next time it's like.
Absolutely. Or maybe he's like, listen, Gwyneth.
And she plays coy.
I hate to break it with you. I'm going to be honest. Right.
So just this one time.
Harvey's probably going, hey, Gwyneth, you want that Oscar? I can make that happen. But you're going to have to do something for me.
Right. And I have to say this because we've always known since the beginning of time, these Hollywood relationships aren't real anyway. Like every time there's a movie coming out, suddenly you hear the two stars are dating. And I remember years ago, right after Thelma and Louise, when Brad got famous, he did an article in Vanity Fair where he talked about being bisexual. We never hear about that again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you don't even know.
I'm sorry. I know this is going to sound
I don't think
bad,
there was a
but
real relationship either.
I think with the bisexuals, I think there might be a double standard. Now, hear me out. I'm sorry. I think men know what they want to put it in versus women. Some women, I feel like there's a scale, but that's a whole different,
Well, listen, I know there's all kinds of scale and science, but my thing has been if you're willing to put the part in your mouth, then you are that, whatever you want to call yourself. Because that's the line. You can make out with someone.
I feel like Gwyneth spread her legs for Harvey. I do.
So.
I don't feel like it was. I think it was obviously a Me Too because he was using his power dynamic. And she also had a motive.
100%.
Right. We're not just saying that she's not a victim in this.
100%.
But I think she agreed is what I'm trying to say.
No, I think everyone knew what he was about. Let's just get that clear.
He looks like it.
He was the stereotypical. Everyone knew. And people were talking before this expose and the Me Too. So you knew if you walked into his office, you got to pay to play.
Absolutely. And I think also with these, Hollywood types, we're now seeing it. A lot of them knew and they didn't say anything.
That's what I mean.
I think Meryl Streep knew. And, now when they lecture us, it's just hilarious because we're like, hey, you worked with Harvey and you thanked him. And
I think Ricky covers that very well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
When he said, it's kind of like working for Harvey Weinstein. Oh, no. You did that, not me. And
right. And how long was she with Brad Pitt? I don't even remember.
It was in the 90s.
So I think that's what I'm talking about when he was
I was just a baby then, so I don't remember too much. You might remember, though.
Well, that's fine. Well, okay, excuse me. But I'm thinking maybe Brad also got Me Too'd by Harvey.
Brad for sure got Me Too'd. He's a pretty blonde boy. I mean...
That's the first time we were overtly seeing them treat a man like that.
It happens a lot with men. I mean, look at Corey Feldman. I mean, he just released his documentary about him being abused and groomed by Hollywood, perverts. And I think Brad...
Well, Terry Crews came out. I mean, he's a really big guy.
Oh,
and he said he was harassed. I mean...
An agent grabbed his balls and he said, like, could you imagine me, a big black man, attacking him? I was powerless. And it's so true. And I'm so... you know what? Shout out to Terry Crews. Yeah. But actually not a shout out because he didn't defend Gabrielle Union recently.
Oh, yeah. No.
So, a half shout out to him for speaking out.
America's Got Talent.
Yes. And, she's married to Dwayne Wade
had a really
and all that.
hostile environment and all that. Yeah.
But getting back to this Gwyneth.
Right. Definitely.
We don't see her much except now on Goop, which is ridiculous. Her vagina candles, her expensive gifts. That's what I love about Gwyneth. She now knows, listen, I grew up rich. I only know rich things. This is my website.
But she's very, very vagina focused. Like, I think she was doing those little eggs that you would put up before the candle.
Oh, yeah, those eggs. Have you ever done those eggs?
No, I didn't.
Do they work? Are they hodgepodge?
I think the point was that you were supposed to, it's before they did that surgery. Some people get this surgery.
Oh, yeah.
The rejuvenation. Right. So I think it was, the whole point was you're supposed to put it in. It's like you're doing your Kegels, but you have to hold something in. I think that was the point. Anyway, but now she has the vagina candle. It's all vagina related.
She has some skincare, but everything on her website's expensive. It's totally not accessible. But that's Gwyneth now. And that's who I've grown to like. I know what she's about.
I've never been on her website. You've gone on?
I have gone on, yes, because she had a skincare line. And, I'm always looking on skincare. I've had acne ever since I was like 12 years old. So, I'm always looking at the newest stuff. And Goop had a line. But again, it was like $500 a month. Sorry. Proactive for me now,
I don't know. And then she married the Coldplay guy. And that was pretty much the last I heard. And they named their kid like Fruit. And then
when they divorced, they said they were consciously uncoupling. I mean, that's the Gwyneth we love. But she doesn't pretend to be this person that she, I hate when celebrities say, oh, I'm just like you. No, you're not.
You're not. She's not. But did she stay in touch with Harvey until the scandal? Do you know?
I don't know because I think her acting was off. Maybe she had she wasn't acting for a while.
I don't know. I think for sure. I think we're in agreement here. So I think we both agree. She definitely slept with him. I'm sure everyone agrees.
Definitely.
I don't care what she says.
This is our opinion. I mean, we think so.
Well,
can you imagine fucking Harvey Weinstein or fat?
I can if I want an Oscar. Apparently, that's how it goes.
Can you believe he sweats? He for sure sweats.
Oh my God, he's
old man sweat.
The only thing you can hope for is that he doesn't have the stamina, and the whole thing's over in a minute.
Oh, I don't think so. I think he's a creep now with Viagra. I'm sure he popped it in before.
And the fact that they're actresses, he probably made them role play.
Absolutely.
They were there for hours. They had to put in the time.
Oh, and his robe, because a lot of the counts are robe.
The massages.
That he likes a massage. Of course he does. He's fat.
You better hope you had long, slender fingers.
Fat people have very bad backs, a lot of them. So he needs fat people. I've never met a fat person like as big as Harvey with having a good back.
What do you mean?
They need a good massage. Back? Well, they always have back issues.
Back issues. Okay,
they always have a bad back. Yeah, they need a massage. Of course, do you think Gwyneth gave him the massage?
Well, I think so. That's how it started, apparently. He always asked for massages.
He's pervy. I'm sure he wanted to put his fingers everywhere.
He's not going to overtly say. He doesn't have to. The power's there. Like you walk in.
I think he overtly said it. I think he's that creep
and I think he's like, show me what you can do. And then he's like, I'm going to need a massage. My neck hurts. That's
certain men, when they're rich and they're already creeps, I'm pretty sure he asks. I think he likes that because he seems like a creep. Well, you look at him and you're like, creep.
No, but it's like Robert Kraft, who was going to the sex slaves. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the thing.
I actually felt bad for him. Like, no matter how much money you have in the world, you still need love. His wife died.
No. Okay, so my problem is he can go to escorts. I don't have a problem with that. My problem is he's going to the slaves. Oh. They were trafficked and they were passports taken away in the back of.
I'm sure he didn't know about that.
Yes, he did. He's going into like a nail salon, like it was in a strip mall.
Maybe he wanted to be inconspicuous.
No, he wanted to take advantage of slaves who clearly didn't want to be there. It's one thing if you
That's
go
true.
to a high end, like I remember seeing some 70s movie, Happy Hooker.
But yeah, but it could be a whole Heidi Fleiss situation, you know, when
That's
she
the
revealed.
power thing. No, he didn't go to the high end. He's there for Little Miss Passport stolen, surviving off like a cup of rice, you know?
You know what? And to say this, you know, Gwyneth, I still love Gwyneth, but did she earn that Oscar? I still think
In
she
her
did.
mind, I think she did.
I think she did earn that
Yeah.
Oscar. I mean, I think she agreed to it.
But
again, it's a Me Too because of that power dynamic.
you also
I just
don't know,
you know
how many times.
I think it was a good.
I don't think it was
healthy
once.
5.
Yeah,
I think a healthy 5.
I think so too. I think a healthy 5 makes sense. He wants to make sure he wants to see her uncomfortableness. You know what I mean?
That's it. There's creeps like that.
Well, this is getting pretty dark. Speaking of dark, there's all kinds of crime to discuss. They recently released on Prime you sent it to me, the Oscar Pistorius story.
You guys have to watch this. It's amazing.
I mean, we know the story, but that was a really good documentary.
So this guy, Oscar Pistorius, just to refresh everyone's memory, he's an Olympic track runner. Bladerunner. He has no legs. Like, he has legs, they're stumps. Like, above his, you know, he has the thigh, he has the knee. He doesn't have the calves or
That's
the feet.
right.
He's wearing the stumps. He basically killed his girlfriend because he said there was intruders. You know, he lives in South Africa. There's robberies that happen all the time. But
On Valentine's Day.
In this documentary, it goes into a lot more than that. It's a lot more complicated.
Yeah. So, you know, through all his life, like you get to see that he was always talking about how he shouldn't be considered disabled because he's able to do everything else. You have to understand that the legs they come up with today are pretty sick. And if you've seen the picture of the blades he even uses when he's running, so he always wanted to be treated as an able-bodied, and he was championing to be able to run not just in the Special Olympics, but in the regular Olympics because he could compete. So that was, but suddenly when he's accused of killing his girlfriend, he says it's not his fault because he's disabled all of a sudden.
So we were all confused.
We're supposed to consider that now.
First, we looked past his disability. We agreed. He's a great runner.
He wants us to look past it.
Right.
We've been told all this
Which
life.
we did, respectfully so, until he killed Riva.
Suddenly, he's more vulnerable because he's disabled, and we should all take that into account. And there was even a dramatic moment in the court where they make him take off the legs and see what he looks like walking on his stumps, which he's able to do because he's saying he shot her with the stumps, like not with the legs.
Now, my question with the stumps: if you lose your calves, can you get taller? Can you?
So there was a drama. You saw this in the documentary. I don't know if you remember. Someone was accused. There was someone else who had like a stump, like a one leg, and they claimed Oscar's fake legs were longer. He was cheating than what he showed the judges.
Which I believe.
He showed the judges one set of fake legs and they measured them. And then he thinks in the Olympics, he actually switched them out for one that was longer to give him more of a leg reach.
So if you do lose your calves, you can go tall, can't you?
Right.
To get taller.
So I've been to South Africa. These people are huge.
The
Like
Afrikaners.
Charlie's, oh my God, like Charlize Theron. Like that's
They're
a typical.
huge. Beautiful accents, by the way. I have to say. Gorgeous accents.
No, but they tower over you. It's all the girls. So I think when he puts on his legs, he'd be like, I think they said 6'4" or something.
He's a hottie.
Right.
For those, you know, and especially since he didn't have his legs or anything. I mean, he's still a hottie patati. No one's taking that away. And Riva's beautiful.
Yeah, she was gorgeous. But I think with Riva, the problem was, I don't want to give too much away, but he was always dating this type, the tall blondes.
Tall blondes.
But Riva was no dummy, even though she was a model.
All his past ones, you know, the girls that he had were much younger and not as, you know, smart as Riva.
Yeah, she was a lawyer. She had a humble background, but she was absolutely gorgeous. So she became a model and was, I think she finished her law degree and she was looking to pursue that. So her parents were very proud of her, and she was an only child. So I think she was also
the darling of the family, of course.
Not more than that. I think she was supporting them as well. She was helping out financially.
It's a tough country. It's a tough country.
So this was pretty brutal. But you said to me, you were funny. You were like, "Would you ever date Oscar?" I said, "What do you mean?"
You know, I don't want to be. You know, of course, disabled people should be treated with respect. But you personally, or me personally, would I date someone who, when wearing the legs, they're over 6 feet, but when you take it off, it's just stumps.
That's what it is. I mean, that's why the real reason I think a lot of women date tall. Everyone thinks it's for security. I'm like, no, there's a guarantee there about a certain
Absolutely.
certain
thing. You know
thing.
what you're getting.
That's right. Even if they're small, for their proportion, it's still going to be above
Would
average.
the stumps poke me? I feel like, you know, I like to think I'm a good person, but honestly, would I be freaked out by the stumps?
Well, you said to me, is it false advertising if you go on dates with him and he doesn't disclose it?
They have to disclose something like that on the first date.
Really?
I feel like if
nice
it's,
to meet you. These
well,
aren't
I
my
feel
real
like
legs.
if let's say the chemistry is great and be like, by the way, I'm really having a good time, but before we go on any further, I just want to let you know I'm double amputee. You know,
I don't know, because for me, it always makes me think of, in Sex and the City, when Samantha finally decides to not sleep with someone and she's like falling in love with this guy. And then she goes, I don't know, for like a month or something. And then she finally makes love to him and he's got the micro. And is that false advertising? Was he supposed to tell her?
I feel like he should, because a man knows when he is a micro.
Well, this is the thing for me. I took that as very informative. That was a lesson to me to not wait months to sleep with someone, because I don't want to find that out. But does he have to disclose it? Do you disclose, like, we all wear bras, right?
Well, I'm a waiter, and especially with...
You shouldn't wait.
With my husband.
You'll end up with
There's almost a guarantee that if they're tall, I should be worried.
Right, if they're tall. Well, we always say, because people would say to me, oh, you're so short. And I'd say, we're all the same size in bed. You're up there at the pillow, everyone's head. I mean, what do you need a guy from the knees down anyway?
But what if it pokes you, the stump? I feel like his stumps are pokey. I don't like being poked.
You think he pokes you? You think he runs in his sleep and it's just poking you?
I think so. Like, how sometimes you're sleeping with your husband and your legs mingle?
Yeah.
You wouldn't feel a leg. Would you feel the hard kneecap?
I never thought of... I don't know.
This is what I think about. I can't feel... I don't even like my own knees.
Okay, you don't want to get freaky with them stumps. I hear you.
I don't know. Did you think she ever kissed the stumps?
No, I don't. Unless he's a foot guy. Like some guys like a foot massage.
Do you think he loves feet? I think Oscar... Ooh, this is a good...
Yeah.
Do you think he has a foot fetish?
Most men do, but I would imagine him as particular.
It's like bald guys. Whenever they see, people with my type of hair, thick, they always mention my hair.
Oh, you're right. It's always you want what you...
You think he's licking them toes?
She probably had to wear high heels around the house. You want your pancakes?
All these, absolutely. He for sure had a foot fetish.
Oh, that makes sense.
He's still in jail, by the way, in South Africa.
As he should be. He took her life, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy that people think that he's innocent or...
Who thinks that? That's insane.
Well, that's true. And I also got into an awkward pause. But you know what? We're going to start off with another sponsorship.
Oh, yes. Okay. So today, this episode has been brought to you by any hardware store. It's the perfect place to get an axe, a rope, a shovel, and garbage bags. Be sure to wear your hoodie if you don't want to be caught on camera.
And we're back.
We are back.
Talking about crime and how to cover up a crime. If anyone saw the show on Netflix, The Staircase, talk about this. This is awful. Oh, my gosh. You have to watch this show. Yes, The Staircase. He did it.
A piece of work. He absolutely did it, and possibly twice. I mean, she had 7 lacerations to the head. 7. He claims she fell down some stairs.
This guy, Michael Peterson, walking free, by the way.
Now, she's a petite lady. She's around the same height as me. And I know if I fall down the stairs, I'm not like some circus performer where I tumble down. That's what his lawyer tried to say. She basically like somersaulted a bunch of times.
His lawyer was great, though. He has a whole fan base.
He had the money, using her money.
I told Kai after watching this documentary, I said, listen, I love my husband. But if I ever fall down stairs, don't believe him.
Don't worry. I won't believe him.
And she said, yeah, do the same with my husband. You know,
I love him to death. He's great. But if I'm at the bottom of the stairs with 7 lacerations to the head, there's no question.
Right. Or if you go on a cruise and, you don't come back and Bruno comes back saying, oh, there's an accident. I know he killed you.
And then we find out that he had this whole secret other life that she found out about. He was sleeping with all these guys behind her back. They're supposed to be married. Yeah. And they tried to make it in the trial like, oh, stop bringing up his gay private life because it's about, homophobia. I'm like, no, he had a secret. He's ashamed of it.
He secretly doesn't want to be gay. He hates himself.
He wasn't in the open.
And he takes it out on women. I know people like that. I'm sure he was, throughout their marriage, was gaslighting her constantly, was putting her down and then putting her up. Putting her down, putting her up. So this total fight of, when she fell down the staircase, he pushed her down that staircase.
And he has a history of lying. He wrote a book, and I think he claimed he had a Purple Heart.
Oh, yeah, and he didn't.
Yeah, so he didn't have any of that. And then he loses his job. She's a big executive, I think, at Nortel. And
oh, yeah.
That went down. And then she's working in the office, and I think she sees an email from him and one of his prostitute guys. Because I think he was getting...
And the most shocking part was he was with a woman in Germany. Oh, yeah. He also shoved her down the staircase. No, right. According to courts, though, she fell down a staircase. Right. He then adopted her kids.
Yeah, they live with them.
And the kids are idiots. They're like, there's no excuse for them. They're now like in their 30s and they're still believing the dad.
You always hear that though. I'm a Dateline person, and every time it's a parent, they're
right. But after the second staircase,
yeah, that's
you got to use some of your mind,
common sense here,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, now you don't have two ladies that you know in your life. Every time you watch a Dateline or anything, there's no such thing as coincidence.
Well, you know why? Because one of the daughters is obviously his kid. They look alike.
He was clearly having an affair with that lady over in, where was it? Sweden,
in Germany.
Germany, somewhere, right? She fell down the stairs. He adopted the daughter. What happened to the dad? I don't know. Did he die from something else?
He died, yeah.
Some weird,
which I'm sure he's involved in.
But now it's round 2. He has a secret life. She finds out about it. She's working from home or whatever. He comes in, throws her down the stairs, but I don't think he threw her down the stairs. I think he hit her with something. We never found it. They thought it was a poker.
A blow poke.
Yeah, blow poke. Sorry.
Which the victim's sister, Candace Amperoni, major clap to. She is how I would want Chaya to be if that were to happen to me, God forbid.
I'd be all over it, like Forensic Files, old
He attacked her with a blow poke. I never want a blow poke as a person ever. No. I don't want it. I don't want to see a blow poke. I just love saying the word blow poke.
You sure do. You sure do. Yeah, I would absolutely make sure, especially if I found out he's got a secret life. Like I said, I don't care that he's sleeping with dudes. Even if he's sleeping with girls, that's not the issue. You have a secret life. You're sleeping with prostitutes.
Why'd you get married? Girl. And, you know.
She finds out about it.
Right.
And she was weird. The money. He wasn't working.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't working. That was the thing.
Yeah.
And that's, again, ladies, always try to marry up. Don't marry down.
Marry for love, ladies, if you can.
Right. Marry for love, but don't marry a guy who had one book and then calls it a day. Can't survive on it.
I think she was in love with him. Like she didn't, when you married him, she brought those kids over.
She has one child.
Right. And the one child stands with the sister.
Right. And that takes real balls on her part, because that is the way that Michael, this guy, has treated her ever since. It's been disgusting.
That's right. And I think he still has the money. In the end, he
still has the money. That's true.
Yeah. So he ended up having to do what's called an Alfred plea, which is where he takes a plea deal without admitting his guilt. But he claims he did it because he couldn't go through this again, put the family through it. But to me, you're guilty, you took it. We see how many people sit in jail all the time and they claim their innocence, even though they know if they say they're guilty, they'll be let out.
And if you notice in the later documentary, his kids don't come visit him in prison while he's in prison.
How long was he in prison?
For 8 years.
Oh, 8. And killed her. 7 killed 2 people.
It's unbelievable how he gets away with it. So yes, guys, you guys got to watch The Staircase.
It was riveting. You know, Netflix has done a great job with these series. I mean, I think The Staircase came before the whole Making a Murderer. So
I have no patience for Making a Murderer.
Oh, it's really good, actually.
I only like what my favorite true crimes are the rich people who do crimes. Like this guy, Michael Peterson. It's like he's living in this mansion. You know, you're going to be in jail. Like that, for me, would deter me off killing someone. If I kill someone, I have to spend my life in a jail, eating jail food while I'm in this mansion. Like Bill Cosby right now is in his cell.
Yeah, eating Jell-O. That's the
eating
irony.
Jell-O. He's from a $400 million mansion. Like he doesn't go grocery shopping. He doesn't know to go from riches to jail.
And they don't like the rapists in the jail, so he's probably getting raped for sure.
I don't think so because he's old. In jail, they don't touch the old ones. No.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's lucky there, but
right.
You know, all these rich, you know, men and they have to go to jail. Those are the ones that I love.
Well, then you would love American Greed. I don't know if you ever watched that.
I haven't.
That's a really good show. It's an hour-long show. I think it's on A&E or one of those channels. Look it up. They always do the scandals of the billionaires who like frauded their companies. And these people live these huge, lavish lifestyles. And my favorite is always at the end. Whenever they're caught, they always have such big egos. They refuse to take a deal. And every time they don't take a deal, I turn to my husband. I go, here we go. They didn't take the deal. They're going to get slapped on with like 100 years of prison.
But I think in America, the prison time's a little too long. If they didn't commit murder or anything, like, should get like 50 years. These people
decimate like so many families.
If they've done
it's
that.
Like they're like Bernie Madoffs.
Oh my God, Ruth Madoff.
Well, that's what this is. There's just tons.
She goes from riches to rags. The Fed still let her keep $1 million.
I think it was $2 million. And
but
she
to
was
her,
like,
that's
me.
Yeah, that's peanuts.
The peanuts. Well, listen, I wish I had the 2 million peanuts to complain about.
But to her, I mean, this is a woman, she was a billionaire. You think she goes to the grocery store? She had to learn all that again.
I don't know how she can go anywhere. Everybody
She's living in a small townhouse now.
Oh, poor thing. I'm in an apartment.
There's pictures of her in IKEA. Like, this is a major
What's she
jump
doing
from
at
a
IKEA?
billionaire. Well, she can't buy her custom-made furnitures.
She didn't get to keep any furniture?
No. And, you know, their son committed suicide. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone was hurt from that situation.
It's a big shame, but those shows are entertaining. They do a great job. It's like Fire Festival of the Scandals.
You know, I love these true crimes. We're going to have more in the future. What do you guys think?
Definitely. And if you guys like what you hear, don't forget to check us out weekly on your preferred platform. Please feel free to provide any feedback and give us a rating. You can go to our website at www.allkindspodcast.com.
And you can also hit us up on Twitter at All Kinds Weekly or on Instagram at All Kinds Podcast. We always look forward to hearing from you, and maybe we can discuss anything you want on our next show. Thanks for listening.